Interested in testing today. Here, there. I mean, this is a good time. 5 weeks, so there's the Mountain floor, I guess. The man walks in rock. He on at Green Bay that he understood being the Green Bay Packers. Really done a good job to the level, but in kind of a different way, having to care. This is a gone taking every different offensive now in the pole position, really control their own destiny with a matchup. After their break, let's wait with some folks in through the bye week. Dreams. I want to, and I'm gonna check to see these notifications come through, and I think they are coming. You're coming at me from Briscoe is a subscriber. See good news in that situation there as well. This week, that's pretty cool. We could get the season, of course, and the Packers sitting at a chance to spend a little extra time. A really tough team to beat. This is a team we got to West. Good things happen. So let me see if I've got through as well. But we've got tons to talk about. In case you didn't notice that, yeah, here. JT is here on Facebook. Rob, and yes, it is going to be the feed is going to fed out through 4 channels. But this is my Patreon day, so those that be on as well, I'm going to be running YouTube Live also. Need to have a way to make sure and get the show. All right, so perfect sense to me. Rick DeBoss, what do you think? And let's just go ahead and do this. We will try that. I have a talk about starting with the playoff picture. And I talked about the standings in general, but we didn't talk about the playoff picture specifically. So if you're not aware of exactly this right now, the change Packers, and that, of course, the Packers still at the number. This weekend, the Packers this pack, of course, that head-to-head will still be ahead of us regardless. Moving forward with that, obviously, Matt LaFleur's way family to go ahead and start early honors, which is going. This was not the game that was circled at the Chiefs chart. One, of course, was a really big. We're looking at, if I was going to title this show, I would just need is one of the most, and it helps a little interesting playoffs right now, and the Packers, hand on the steering wheel, right? NFC North. I though and go through the one Ravens. The Ravens have the tiebreakers for the path to lose the game. Can take with the time at 2. Kansas City 4. There is a scenario in which they drop out of the play. Them to be if you lose Mahomes for a Packers game being one of those, team is how good are we? So the Bills at the 5 spot, right, seem like a given, but and then Miami is kind of, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 6 seed, right? Win AFC West, there would be very interesting division lead as well. In right now, it just looks a little weak. I mean, you basically have the struggle until they got teams like the Ravens that look really good, outstanding right now. He's. I think if you can dig those, this AFC might be a different defense, but now with Lamar Jackson playing the AFC. So then, of course, we all know we've got the 49ers at the top with came to Seattle and play them. Right now, it's just looming large for that Packers team that's hoping to knock them off for a second, that they lose this. Be surprised one bit if that upstart Cardinals team play again this. And then you've got the Packers at number 2. We talked about this. Will be number 10, so we can all kind of rest. It's always nice to do. But in there, they've got, back, and they have that bad game. Packers. But they're tied. So, at number 2 is really in kind of surprise loss against the one away on a travel when we were traveling, and the Packers offense moved the ball well, but just stocks now at 5. They're not. But that can change. Then again, have the Week 17 matchup against them as well, kind of bank. But then you got to pay attention to those Vikings down there. Seahawks are on their bye week as well, by the way, I do believe. But at number 6, we've got the Vikings. And this is a team that we're sitting watching. We've got to keep our eye on because we know we got to play them at US Bank. We've struggled to beat that team there. I think this is a different year. I think this is a different defense. I think their defense isn't quite as good as it used to be. Phil says on Instagram, US Bank Stadium high school playoff fun. So he's over there doing some high school playoffs right now. And indoors, that's nice in Minnesota. The way the weather has been, we've got snow here in Tennessee. But yeah, the Packers will have to follow that up. We'll have to be there in December as well. Place to play. Got to hand it to them on that. Out, kind of on the outside looking in, you got the Rams at 5-4, and that's kind of a surprise of the year. You got the Eagles at 5 division. They can still very easily win the division. The Cowboys, if they struggle down the line, and the Panthers at 5. And that was a very close game. It came down to the wire. It came down to a goal line stand. But this is a playoff potential team that we just got done. Be proud of that. To be quite honest, that was a snow globe game. It's been called. It was beautiful, idyllic. Lambeau Field football line run that just went completely awry. And Matt LaFleur afterwards said, I had to done it again, but I wouldn't have run that same. Devontae Adams not on the field. There could have been a different formation. There could have been a little motion. All that stuff suddenly went in. And put together a handful of plays that be a little more successful down the line. Cigar Thomas is here. Ken Briscoe. We've got lots of folks on the Instagram feed as well. Good to see you guys. Simulcasting over 4 different platforms right now. I want to YouTube feed is there or not. Well, I'm going to check in on the live here. And turn off the volume because that's not what we want. I've been able to monitor the YouTube comments in the past, and now I can easily do that right here. So, but yeah, Eagles through the NFC East, they still have the opportunity to win. And again, the Packers can make by running the table. And I don't even want to think about that potential. But it's there. It really is good. We saw a resurgence of Kenny Clark. We saw Preston Smith with, depending on who's counting, 12 or 14 pressures on the quarterback, and Kenny on the quarterback in that game. They just weren't able to get home as much against Kyle Allen as we kind of that I believe has mounts a comeback. And we saw week 1. Actually, I'm not going to talk about that but that is the playoff picture as it stands right now. Isn't it good? It's hard when the Packers aren't playing, but you get to watch an entire slate of games. Packers will come out of the bye, the number 2 seed, and have a chance to go head-to-head together and get it together at the right time. They're healthy. They are an Aaron Rodgers-led team, but they're also a team that has Devontae Adams. They have Aaron Jones, and they know what they've got in Aaron Jones. Jamal Williams also, and we've got Jenkins has made a big difference. And we'll talk about the free agent acquisitions. We'll talk about the draft picks. Everybody has been kind of grading the Packers. This is the week in which we and offensively, Yeah, this is a good offense. Offense that can like this is an offense that has put all the pieces together just yet. Because I think Matt LaFleur's scheme is helping greatly. I think we are. I think Aaron Rodgers has embraced this offense. Players be successful. He just really seems to be enjoying that. We get Devontae Adams took a step forward. Adams has come back. We kindly the number two. Alan Lazard is blocking really well, also, by the way. And so, but the thing I don't think yet, and this is an offense that we can score in so many different ways that against solid defense. We've been playing good defenses all. 49ers will be no less of a great defense. One of the best we've faced. But now what was it? Chris Jones, I think, got an ACL and he's out for the season. He'll have season-ending surgery. And this is a potential for the offense to put it together. You got Aaron Rodgers. There's that game in which Aaron Rodgers just had touchdowns. We've had a couple of those already, starting with the Cowboys, 4 in the Cowboys game. 3 against Carolina. Then you've got games in which Devontae Adams needs that walk-off game. We weren't able to get that with the pass interference call that wasn't reviewed. And on a turnover, no less, entirely put it all together. One of the surprises that isn't a huge surprise is the upgrade at left tackle. Elton Jenkins was going to replace, was going to, be the starter moving forward. He didn't get that better play, and then, of course, Taylor got hurt, which might have factored into that. But Elton Jenkins has taken the reins and just run with it. And obviously, we're going to talk about draft choices in a little bit. But offensively, I would give him a B+. I think they've come together well, plus top of the class offense. When you've got Aaron Rodgers, you've got Aaron Jones, you got Devontae Adams along the line. Corey Linsley's no laughing matter either. He's a really, really good center. But up to this point, I think there is the potential that this team could put it all together and basically be the kind of team on every offensive series. They go out there and, yes, they need. Yes, maybe at the end of the game they need for a 2-minute drill, and they get that. On the front end of the game, Matt LaFleur has had fantastic in the first quarter of football games, and we get that. And then in between, Devontae, there's the potential for a lot of scoring. And even in the Carolina game, we talked about this. I feel like we left some. And so we'll see if this team can. The Cowboys game, probably one of the best games that we had offensively. But then on the flip side of that, how the defense coming out in the Chicago game week 1 just really, really. But DM Facebook comments, but then for defense, I don't, because it's points that win championships, and we've done a really good job of keeping teams out of the end zone. Offense that's good. You're going to have trouble outscoring this offense, and you're not going to beat the tide and have to force field goals. It's just not going to work for teams. And defense right now, I mean, early on, they looked like A plus. And we're still getting on the Instagram comment line. Phil is commenting, would love to see Vitaly have more success like Kuhn did. Better receiver, but I cringe on simple 1 yard gain. And Patreon page already seen Danny Vitaly split out on one as Jamal Williams, who showed he can catch like a wide receiver too. Aaron Jones can catch like a wide receiver. Jamal Williams, even Vitaly we saw can catch like a wide receiver. Kinds of potential and all kinds of ways this team can score. Love as the best fullback in Vitaly when he's had his opportunity as much. We don't run as much. We don't have to. Oh, what happened when the 49 Hawks game plan? Stat will take our. Now, yeah, I know it was without the rib injury. Is the run the ball more than we do. The pass into that. We don't have to have. We've got Aaron Rodgers. There's a thing you saw it highlight at the end of that game, and easy when you've got Aaron Rodgers. He's not playing at as high a level as is on Aaron games. And we can also hang out there are different games on Russell Wilson. Our Patreon folks, simulcasting on Facebook again, as we're feeding to silent. I know continue on that with everybody else as well. Trade problem is in turn, and that would great. Well, we're talk about the regular season quick. First game, you give them Vikings a. We gave us kind of push the Vikings. They were 16 returned. His team like a D. 5 attempts and do yeah. let's hands we like the five by the line proof that listen, you're not going to kick field goals. We're not 100% game. And we off with we so in terms of the cat, I really there. I mean, I would have been you long at all. So that weeks YouTube talk about a candidate running. I mean, is there? I didn't play on down and asked the schedule and was on you week 17. Here as it stands to Aaron by against the touchdown. Does our carries all for MVP value. It's really hard to our weekend Panthers run at that, we wouldn't be in the race either. Where I really think the guy he cut away line exactly. It's one day of the week. Uh, you know, I brought up Aaron Jones for the reason I'm uh, yards a carry. We had the one against the Broncos. They high, but he also the Eagles the backfield we saw uh, six years in which and again this is fine game out 3 touchdowns in that game. And then the Panthers talk and Aaron 700 yards, 13 of deploy the guys. He's got Aaron Jones and so now, right? fans. 11 touchdowns on the ground, and then 3 receiving for a total of 14 together. It's an average. But again, Aaron Jones can break it back. And, I was talking fantasy football, Jones. And boy, early in the season, I thought I was wrong. I was like, man, was I wrong about this? Kind of maybe didn't know what they had for Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones and Devontae here. Hey, stay going in. Can he play right now? Again, I'm not going to had an Aaron Rodgers, Devontae, tackles. That was kind of what, and Brian free agency. I don't think how good these into one that can get. This was need mostly unavailable film, but we weren't had to. Great return on investment. So we can get you come in and you're out the ability to cover them, and it's a whole, of course, picked up. Get out of him is exactly he belongs against Jacobs. Incredibly soft when we were talking about this. I went back. Coordination is going to be Rashawn Gary because he, for the same, the guy at pick, he has got in the Panthers cutting and Rashawn Gary the sacks. Okay. Starting to get more average. His defense is really stout. What Rashawn Gary's going to value that in the dirt game and not the Seattle Seahawks. That would make for the green for a rookie. Coverage at 41. Very that's really what the opposing trying to get. So Rashawn Gary, everything doesn't make any sense. TV. I don't know year one at all. Period. I mean, this guy was injured for a few games in A right now. Dix is doing right now. Adrian Amos Darnell has been important. Then we with football focus, great. We got refresh that page. Pro Football Focus has it. Let's go here. Now fantastic. 2 points as a run block up stuff. Just an absolutely Packers try getting late and time around out of Elton Jenkins position. I'm short up that he's been allowed. Expecting to see more of his views in that game. Wrong athleticism for the cutoff because of his he's not as big guys like that point mostly inactive. Williams got a fan tireless, but right have his negative player and Elton can come in, make a few criticism, and this is a guy still berserk. A tight last year, forget what ridiculous were you and come on, if he could have get that in the end zone, that would finally their speed call is just not the case. Great at it. You're getting him out and to the starting defense and moving, setting them down. Factor that. With Matt LaFleur's birthday today, we've got spend it with his family, gets to themselves physically, talk, rest hubs. Over this, talked about guys like Kenny Clark, Zadarius Smith. Oh, the games was up. He got out, but they weren't only giving up 16 points. That's pretty damn, depending on who you ask. Run for the Green. We know difficult team to beat. Folks here today, and how you think, if you're looking at the feel like we're going to have more. I just think there's a mix. It's hard on offense to nail down one thing. Mix. The 49ers, however, and I think good things will happen. We're going to see if that happens on the field. But this Pettin go some risk, man, and up on the back to the 49ers feed as well. Long, lower score, with that group, and that's that game, and that they're flip what we might try to do. We can make and again, G out real well for him. And if you can do what football, San Francisco 49ers, without a doubt, mix. Times when Aaron Rodgers, but this Packers team is going to need to establish red zone, which is a lot of it. And Jones can just beat people to the edges. There's going to be that play that Devontae Adams is going to need the long ball, a little bit sus. Back, he talked about the one had his guy beat. Go in there, there's going to be that. There's your Lazard, your M. Going to probably have to make one of those big cats have a chance to base travels with you. But Seattle Seahawks fans, so something's going on. And there was a significant Seahawks So San Francisco, I mean, it's going to take where when Rodgers' knee knows what he and then the timer on every at least get settle for field goal. 49. What did the 49ers Seahawks game come down to? I almost forgot. Had this big leg, and he needs to make sure he gets back on track. Start and because he's going to need to flip field position once or twice down the line. We're going to need it. I'm giving him. He needs to bounce back up like a force with Crosby. We're going to need in terms of kicking at Lambeau Field is going to be potential for me. You looked at the slate of games, and you had to be if this is what I did. Anybody wants to jump? No. Seem to, but I do. Moving forward, that I'm pretty God, the other's going to be Mason concerned with a big leg and a kicker with a big. This is and you force them to throw the ball, and this is a team we should beat. We got to play at the Meadowlands. Washington, that's a team that's really on thin ice. I mean, they're falling apart right now. You have to win those games. These two games, even if we win, like if you go into the 49ers game and the Packers find a way to win by low double digits, I'm going to be really happy with that. 49ers, we can drop 40 burgers, whatever we draw. It's not going to impress me. I mean, we just need to get the job done. This Washington team is a team we've struggled against in the past when we should have beat them. And then, of course, you've got the December matchup against the Bears, Vikings, and Lions. And this is where the Packers, starting in Week 15, the Packers, starting with that game, need to show that they are for real in terms of going the distance. You have to play your best football in December. The Bears game, Week 15, is the game to get it started. That field, this team has to close the season out on the road. We need to get it going against the Bears and really lay the beat down that they deserve. Be better than them offensively, even though they still have a scary defense. And then defensively, we need to do what every team should do against Mitch Trubisky. At US Bank, indoors, so weather won't be a factor. This team, and then that's a game in which I think, you're going to look to, Aaron Jones on the ground, maybe kind of ground it out. That's a tough one to call for me. The Minnesota Vikings defense, I don't think is as good as at times. I do think there is a sense in which the Packers now, if we go in and we're winning, let's see, we play at New York. It's going to be outdoors and potentially cold. Washington, Lambeau, potentially cold, with the notion of coming back potentially in the playoffs to Lambeau Field, which is going to be really cold. That Minnesota Vikings game and that Detroit Lions game being indoors in climate control, that could be a breath of fresh air for the Packers. I mean, that could be a nice little, oh, guess what? We get to play a break in terms of just fighting that cold weather, so that if we can win those 2 games, then you come back. And by then, this team, again, I said the Packers need to make these playoffs less interesting. It's going through Lambeau Field at that point, most likely. But then if you have those 2 indoor games before you have to go back out in the cold, I think that could be a real benefit. Because then you're going back out into the cold. You've got a respite from it for a couple of weeks. And they got to come to Lambeau Field in January. The setup almost makes me wish it wasn't so good, because it's going to be very difficult for the Packers to get there. This is a tough. But this is a Packers team that I think it is falling together as well as it could possibly fall together right now. After your bye week, now are they going to have a bounce back game? It's still at home for them. Would have loved to have that game at Lambeau Field. You know, a warm weather team coming to Lambeau the end of November when it's already snowed. That'd have been great. That's just not how it lays out. But, you know, you can hardly beat having a chance head-to. And then you own the head-to-head as well. And then you end up with the 2 probably weakest teams before you have that final run of NFC North opponents. 2 of them, then we got to play in Detroit. But I really think if this team gets rolling against the Bears outdoors at Lambeau Field, it could potentially be a benefit. And we could go into that Minnesota game. We've got the weapons, and we get to play indoors. Same thing with Detroit. That should be a win. So the Packers, you know, Minnesota Vikings is not a should-be win. Chicago Bears, I'm going to give a should-be win. That's at Lambeau Field. We should beat the Bears. Washington, Giants, New York. You know, so you've got, right, with 8, 9, 10, 11, there's a 12 wins I think should be the minimum that this team, the minimum. And if you pull 2 more out of that, you know, if you can beat the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank, one of the other ones, we should be sitting pretty. Now, again, with the way the NFC is, that doesn't guarantee us home field by any stretch throughout. But if this team runs the table, we're pretty much in the pole position. So it is definitely an interesting bye week, like to which we have not had a long time. Again, I'm very interested to see how Matt LaFleur comes back after a bye week. We'll see how that works out. And we will continue to talk about it this week. So thank you for joining me on this simulcast. I see Steve is here. I see Russ, Susan on the and I think we can. This is the throw the horn off over the ledge. We want that. Shut that freaking horn up. But the Vikings playing good football. I think that might be one of the toughest games we've got because, again, you can't – NFC North opponents, they're so common. It's a little difficult, but I think the Packers this year have an advantage. They played him for years, and they kind of know what he's up to. And then that you add to that the varied ways in which the Packers offense can perform right now. You can go Aaron Rodgers. You can throw to the tight ends. You can throw to any of our running backs. And we've got a good running game. Still got Devontae Adams. MVS has got 4.3 speed at 6'4", and probably Allen Lazard is our second wide receiver at 6'5". Block 2. So I hope you guys have a great Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Have a little fun. I will be at work for a double, so I probably won't be able to do a show. But I thought I would throw this one up for everybody. quality is just going to be what it is. So we will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great weekend. Go Pack.